Oh, excuse my chair, y'all. But anyways, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Hot Topics with Eddie. So today I will be discussing my experience as being a young black girl at a PWI. And y'all, I wrote a lot of points in my notebook, so I really apologize if this video is long, but I encourage everybody out here to just watch the video, comment, let me know if you agree, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, let's jump right into it. So the first point that I want to address is that as a minority, you will experience culture shock 9 times out of 10. Some of y'all may be thinking like that's pretty obvious, but I thought I was mentally prepared to come to a PWI. In the first day of frog camp, when I got to TCU, I was like, oh, it was a little intimidating. It can be uncomfortable. A lot of times you'll be one out of 4 or 5 other black kids out of a group of 70 or even 100 students in lecture halls. So I just want to, make that known that does happen. It can be intimidating and overwhelming and uncomfortable. So yeah. My second point is that you will experience, witness, or hear about racism and microaggressions at a PWI. And so basically, microaggressions are hidden, indirect, discriminatory insults or comments that subtly expresses a prejudiced attitude. A common question that me and my peers get from white students or white staff is, are you an athlete? Now, let's be clear, the athletes at TCU and at major schools are dope, especially the ones at TCU. We cold, period. But it's just like hearing that question, you're low-key saying like, there's no way that you're here on academic merit or great financial aid. Like, you gotta play sport, right? You know what I'm saying? So another question that you may not be asked, well, I was asked, is, are you on a scholarship? Now, I take pride in having a full ride at TCU, but some of my peers, they're not on a scholarship. They're not community scholars. So you're saying, as a black kid, I know for sure that you do not have great financial aid and you can't afford to be here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And lastly, you may not hear this directly, but I kind of, heard it circling around when I got to TCU, is that you're just here because you're a minority and to meet a quota. Let me make something clear. For me to become a community scholar, I had to get accepted into TCU and I had to meet community scholar requirements. So please don't think that I rolled up into TCU with a 2.0 and a really low SAT. No, baby. I worked my butt off all 4 years of high school and I deserve to be there. And just hearing that, it's like you're trying to discredit my academic merit and my hard work and that I'm just here just because of my race. That is not the case. Now, community scholars, of course, it does target kids in low-income communities, but that is not the sole purpose of why we're there. We have to work very hard and meet a lot of qualifications. So let's get that understood. So speaking to racism happens any and everywhere, but based off of my first year at TCU, I noticed that common themes are your major and where you live. Now, pre-business is the most popular major at TCU. That being said, you're surrounded by a larger mix of white students. My friends who are in pre-business, they say like, yeah, racism is a lot more prevalent in my classes and stuff like that. And also political science majors, because you're surrounded by conservative, diehard Trump supporters. I don't know how many times Tiani will come back to the dorm and will be like, yeah, so one of my classmates said that white people are oppressed because 4 white farmers got killed in Africa. So I'm just like, baby, how did y'all get to TCU? Like, you hear stupid comments like that pretty often. So yeah. And speaking to where you live, so I stayed in Moncrief my freshman year. I loved Moncrief. It had a great social climate. I didn't have any issues there, but my friends who stayed in Foster, which is a bougie dorm, they a lot of times would say that they heard their roommate, their suite mate say the N-word, and the staff at Foster wouldn't really do anything about it. So yeah, it can happen any and everywhere, but yeah. So don't think that it automatically won't happen if you're like a psych major, because like I said, it happens everywhere, but those are just common themes that I've observed. And lastly, before I move into my pros, I want to note that please don't think that all PWIs are like the Jim Crow era. It is not like you go to the blue and white kids are spitting at you and throwing food at you and you getting locked out of classes. It is not that extreme. Them white kids, y'all, they are scary and real weak. So their racism is real subtle and indirect. So don't come in thinking that it's going to be extremely overwhelming, because it won't. So my first pro of being at a PWI is that it forces you and teaches you to be unapologetically Black. So sitting in that discomfort, it forces you to remind yourself, like, I'm powerful, intelligent, and Black. I'm challenging stereotypes by being here. I'm breaking generational cycles, and I worked my butt off to get here. So I'm going to be proud while doing it. So yeah, a lot of times people think that you're going to become whitewashed. And the Black people that came into TCU whitewashed, they went to predominantly white schools, or they were raised that way. Like me, living in Stop 6, coming from Dunbar, no ma'am. I did not go in there feeling like, oh my God, I need to wear my hair straight every day and I need to code switch all the time. No, that is not the case. It's the complete opposite. And also, because you're surrounded by other beautiful, intelligent, authentic Black people also. And I've met some of the dopest, most amazing Black people coming to TCU. And so 3 people that I want to shout out, and share their examples is my friends Brian and Kiaya, and an upperclassman named Hosa that I met. And so my friend Brian, he legit is one of the funniest people I have ever met, ever. He is so funny. And y'all, he can sing. I mean, the boy can he will make you get tears in your eyes. He can sing. And his art, y'all, is amazing and beautiful. And I just brought up my friend Brian because I really, really love how multifaceted he is. Like, he shows people that you can be a young Black man from Stop 6 and still be intelligent and love art. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to succumb to this stereotype. And so now Hosa, I met him in my community scholar interviews, and when I met him, the first time I met him, I was blown away. Because at the time, y'all, he had a shag. He's a rapper, by the way. Dope music. Y'all need to go check him out and listen to his music. And when I was just hearing him talk, I was like, yeah, like, he a D-boy native for sure. Like, he from Dallas all the way. Like, you can hear it in how he carries himself and how he talks. And so just seeing that, it was really comforting and inspiring to see a young Black intelligent man who's true to his roots. And so really getting to know Hosa, he's taught me that I never have to dim light on where I come from, and I don't have to code switch to be treated with respect personally or academically. So yeah, shout out to him. And so mentioning Kiaya, she is the definition of a female boss, y'all. She is dope, and her ambition is through the roof. She's very inspiring to me, and she's another multifaceted young Black woman. So the list goes on and on and on, y'all. I have some great friends that I've met, but I just wanted to show them that it's not a lot of Carltons running around in PWIs, and it's not a lot of fake coons that you come across. It's definitely not like that at PWIs. So my next point is that social life at PWIs, especially at TCU, is lit. Okay, lit. So I want to shout out BSA, Black Student Association, one of the best organizations ever. I love the entire e-board of BSA. Camryn, Mikea, Kiaya, Rosie. I love them, y'all, and I really, really look up to them a lot. And so BSA made my transition so much easier and enjoyable. They put on great events, and they provide a safe and social atmosphere for the Black community. So those of y'all who are coming to TCU, you got to make sure you stay involved with BSA and join. They're an amazing organization. And so I also want to shout out Women of Empowerment, y'all. It was literally founded and established by Dominique. And y'all, Dominique is literally like a big sister to me, and it just really makes my heart happy to see what she's accomplished and what she's put together at TCU. And I love every single one of Women of Empowerment's events. I always learn a lot. I always walk away with a lot. and I just enjoy their events. And it creates a safe space for women of color on campus. So, specifically talking about the party scene, it's lit for sure at TCU and a lot of PWIs. So, the first hump night that I went to last semester, me being a little old freshman, I was like, oh, they lit. Like, it was so fun, y'all. It was turned up. And y'all, our homecoming after party, Purple Haze, if you wasn't there, baby, you missed out. That was, in my opinion, that was the best party I've been to. It was lit. It was so fun. So don't be fooled, y'all. The black communities at PWIs are lit. They gonna get you right. So don't think that social life is non-existent in PWIs, because it's definitely not the case. So my next point is that the quality of education that I'm receiving at TCU is a major blessing. I'm learning so much about my passion of education. I'm learning so much about Black people and systemic oppression in general, more than I've ever learned in my entire life. Another point that I want to mention is that TCU specifically has been great in this online transition, due to COVID-19. And so at TCU, if you needed to stay on campus, if you couldn't go home or you didn't want to, then you could stay. You could remain on campus. You didn't have to move. And we could move out whenever we wanted to. So at first they tried to do time slots, but they were like, hey, like, y'all can move out as you please, because kids are all over the country. So if they can't move in that, that 2-week window, then what? So everybody moved out on their own pace, and they have provided so many online resources to help us during this pandemic. Most of my professors have been very flexible and helpful. So yeah, to y'all who are in high school and watching this, y'all better pay attention at how y'all's colleges that y'all want to go to, how did they treat their students during this pandemic is very important. So my last point is that overall, coming to TCU has been one of the greatest blessings of my life. Thank you, God. I thank him all the time. Like, I'm so thankful for this opportunity, man. Like, my scholarship, it covers everything. Not having to pay a dime for books, for living arrangements, food. That is the best feeling ever. And I met some of the most amazing people. Like my best friend Kristian, y'all, he is near and dear to my heart. I love him a lot. And we have grown very close. So yeah, and also I get to be a part of making history through activism by supporting Coos. And I need to put their link back in my bio, but they are an amazing coalition. They have accomplished a lot so far. And just in general, I know that God placed me at TCU to fulfill my purpose. Like, I'm not at TCU by accident. So I really hope that this video was eye-opening to y'all who may be wondering what it's like. And I just want to end on this note. To those of y'all who are considering PWIs, go to whatever school is meant for you. Go. Don't block your blessings by being misguided. You know what I'm saying? Don't go to schools based off of rumors and myths and stereotypes, and don't steer away from any. And if I would have listened to stereotypes and negative things, I would have missed out on an amazing experience and blessing. So I challenge y'all to do the same. And I just want to thank everybody for watching this video. So yeah, bye y'all.